Hi, I'm Brodrick Stigall, and this is my video for the Spring 17 Educational Technology class. The project that I'm going to talk to you about is Histabot, or the History Robot. So what the Histabot is, it's an attempt to turn this device right here, the Google Home, into an intelligent tutor of sorts. What I found was that the capabilities of the Google Home do not allow it to be a full-featured ITS the way that some of the professional or the academic ITSs are, but the Google Home is very good at conversation. With that being said, she's about to respond to me because I said Google. With that being said, the Google Home is perfect for teaching things that can be taught with just conversation. Because of that, I chose to make the Google Home teach history. After talking to several elementary school teachers and some high school teachers even, I found out that history was one of the things that they don't really teach a lot in elementary school, but they do talk about some things like geography and the presidents. So what I have here is an agent that exists inside of the Google Home that is able to take on the personality of a historical figure, particularly a president in George Washington, and it is able to have a conversation in first person with the human to teach history in a very interesting way. So let's try it out. Hey Google, talk to History Robot.
Sure, here is the test version of History Robot.
Welcome to Histabot. I can let you talk to a historical figure or person. Who do you want to talk to?
George Washington.
Hi, I'm George Washington. I'm the first president of the United States.
When were you born?
I was born February 22nd, 1732, at my parents' Oaks Creek estate near present-day Colonial Beach in Westmoreland County, Virginia.
Did you have children?
Martha and I didn't have any children together, but we raised her children from her previous marriage to Daniel Park Custis. She had 2 children, John Park and Martha Park Custis.
When were you president?
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. You can ask me about my siblings.
Did you have siblings?
I had 5 full siblings and 3 half-siblings. My father remarried after the death of his first wife, and I was the oldest child of that union.
When did you die?
I died December 14, 1799, at my home in Mount Vernon, Virginia.
How did you die?
I fell ill on December 12, 1799, and lost the battle with the illness after 2 days. I was 67 years old.
Okay, goodbye. If you saw, I just asked a certain amount of questions to George. Of course, he can answer many more questions than that. I've actually had to implement the questions that the bot can answer and look up facts about George Washington and turn them into first-person facts so that the bot can reply in first person when a human is talking. Of course, it's not really fair for me to talk to the bot because I know exactly what questions it can answer and how to ask them. So let's really have some fun, and we're going to talk to kids later, and I'll show you videos of talking to kids. Now, there is one interesting thing. Even though I named the project Histabot, I tried to get the Google Home to recognize Histabot, but the speech recognition will not recognize the word Histabot because it's not a real word. So I have to invoke my action with the word History Robot. So I have to ask Google to talk to History Robot. But that's enough about me. Let's talk to some kids.
Welcome to Histabot. I can let you talk to a historical figure or person. Who do you want to talk to?
Talk to George.
George Washington.
Good job.
Hi, I'm George Washington. I'm the first president of the United States.
Click the microphone.
When was your birthday? Oh wait. I'm saying when was your birthday?
I was born February 22nd, 1732, at my parents' Folks Creek estate near present-day Colonial Beach in Westmoreland County, Virginia.
Where was the White House? Did he live in the White House?
During my presidency, my family and slaves lived in the president's house in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. John Adams, the president after me, lived there as well.
Did you know that?
No. I knew that it wasn't like in Washington D.C. When were you president?
I was president from April 30th, 1789 to March 4th, 1797. I was elected unanimously in 1789, and again in 1792. I am still the only president to be unanimously elected.
Hey Google, talk to History Robot.
Sure, here is the test version of History Robot.
Welcome to Histabot. I can let you talk to a historical figure or person. Who do you want to talk to?
George Washington.
Hi, I'm George Washington. I'm the first president of the United States.
Can I ask a question?
Ask a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Try asking that in a different way. Or you can ask me about something else, like my letters.
Google. How did dinosaurs come to six?
I'm sorry.
You
I
can only
didn't
ask the
understand.
questions about George
Try
Washington.
asking that in a different way. Or you can ask me about something else, like my friends.
Who are your friends?
I had many friends, but one of my closest was my childhood friend George William Fairfax. He went back to England before the events of the Revolutionary War.
Google. When did George Washington get married?
My wife's name is Martha. We got married January 6, 1759.
George Washington. Who was the president after you?
John Adams was my vice president. He was elected president after me. I died before the third president was elected. I couldn't hear what you just said. John Adams was my vice president. He was elected president after me. I died before the third president was elected.
When were you become alive?
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. Try asking me about my house.
Where was your house?
During my presidency, my family and slaves lived in the president's house in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. John Adams, the president after me, lived there as well.
This is my bed. Can't think of anything else.
Okay.
When did you die?
I died December 14, 1799, at my home in Mount Vernon, Virginia.
When did Abraham Lincoln die?
I'm sorry,
You gotta
I
ask
don't
him
have an
about
answer
George
for that.
Washington.
You can ask me about my death.
He doesn't know when Abraham Lincoln died because he was the first president of the United States. Before the third president came alive, he was dead. When George Washington died, when he was the seventh, no, he died before the third president came alive. Why would you know that question.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You want to ask?
Try asking that in a different
Ask
way.
him something.
Or you can ask me about something else, like my marriage.
When did George Washington die? When did George Washington?
He asked it.
I died December 14, 1799, at my home in Mount Vernon, Virginia.
When was George Washington married to?
My wife's name is Martha. We got married January 6, 1759.
How many kids did you have?
Martha and I didn't have any children together, but we raised her children from her previous marriage to Daniel Park Custis. She had 2 children, John Park and Martha Park Custis. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. You can ask me about my hair.
What color was your hair when you were alive?
Most men wore white wigs in our time. The powdered wig originated in France in the 1700s. The trend began in royalty and developed as a symbol of upper-class conservative status. However, my hair was actually red. I powdered my hair to make it white.
That answered one of my questions. Was her hair actually white? Was her hair always white? Did I ask that? I asked a different question. Oh. I asked what color was his hair when he was alive. What was your part in the revolution?
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. You can ask me about my cherry tree.
What about your cherry tree?
As I recall, the story is told, when I was about 6 years old, I was given a hatchet. While playing, I accidentally chopped my father's cherry tree. When he asked me about it, I said, I can't tell a lie, Pa. You know I can't tell a lie. I did cut it with my hatchet. I will neither deny, nor confirm the story of the cherry tree, because I can't tell a lie. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. You can ask me about my slaves.
What color were your slaves?
I owned a large plantation and slaves like many other wealthy men of my time. I brought some of my slaves with me to the president's house in Philadelphia. Before I died, I wrote in my will that all my slaves be freed upon my death.
Why did you ask that? When did your dad die?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Try asking that in a different way.
Wow!
Or you can ask me about something else, like my slaves.
What school did you go to? Jinx. No jinxies.
I did not attend school. I was homeschooled. I also studied with the local church, and when I was older, you had a schoolmaster who gave me lessons in math, English, Latin, and geography.
If you noticed in the beginning, I ran the bot off of a laptop because at the beginning I could not actually get it to run on the Google Home. So the first couple of kids I got it to talk to, it was through the laptop where they actually had to press the button to talk to the action. Later on, when I actually got it on the actual Google Home device, everything ran a lot smoother. Still, a lot of the bugs and a lot of the features of the project, they were discovered by kids because when I made the bot, I couldn't necessarily figure out or ask it things that I didn't know that it can answer. But when you get to kids, they ask a lot of different questions. In fact, the number one question that just about every kid asked was, what is your favorite color? Of course, I don't know what George Washington's favorite color is, and I don't think anybody knows what his favorite color is. But I had to give an answer because so many kids asked that question, and actually one of my classmates suggested it in the Piazza Forum that George Washington's colors are red, white, and blue. It's obvious. So I added that question. I added that response to that question, even though it's not necessarily historically accurate. Another example of that is the cherry tree, where that's not necessarily a historically accurate fact. But George recounts the story and jokingly says, I can neither confirm nor deny the story because I can't tell a lie. So he kind of tells a joke, but he also tells the story so the kids can learn about the story without actually taking it as fact. I'm going to pause for an ambulance. Learn about the story without actually taking it as fact. Also, it was a very interesting moment when actually one of the children, who was my niece, she had just learned from asking George who was the second president, where George told her who the second president was and said that he died before the third president. And then her brother came and asked a question about Abraham Lincoln, and she showed that she had learned from the Bible that George Washington died before the third president was born. So, of course, he would not know anything about any other presidents after he died. And she told her brother that in a matter-of-fact type of way, as if she'd known it her whole life, but she had just learned it from just having a conversation with George Washington. A perfect example of the capabilities of a project like this to teach children just by talking, because children talk all the time, and if they can just come in and talk to a device like this and learn history, the possibilities are endless. The goal of the project is to eventually add other personalities, so hopefully we won't just have George Washington, we'll have Abraham Lincoln, we'll have Martin Luther King, we'll have many different historical figures, so children, when they learn about something in school, they can come home and they can ask to talk to that person that they just learned about, and the Histabot will expound upon their knowledge through natural conversation. I hope you enjoyed this project and learning about Histabot, and hopefully you'll get to use it in the Google Home soon.